So if you're in leadership right now, you've probably realized at some point or another that it's actually not all roses and recognition. In fact, when you're in leadership, you're starting to realize that anything that can and will go wrong actually falls on the shoulders of the person leading the organization. So I'm gonna share with you guys a few key points that the leaders that I coach around the country are doing to keep a high positive mindset no matter what's happening in their business around them. I'm Kate Simon, and I coach CEOs, leaders, and entrepreneurs all over the country to hit their organizational goals. So if that sounds like you, make sure you subscribe to my channel to see what's coming next. So the first point I want to share around creating and cultivating a positive mindset is first understand that when you step into a position of leadership, you automatically step at the back of the line, and the people that you're leading and the mission that you're on comes before you and anything else. Which means that if you're in a leadership position, we have to work tirelessly on accepting the fact that good days and bad days are going to happen in leadership, and we need to adopt the mindset that our people should never be able to tell the difference between a good day and a bad day. So we need to accept that our role as a leader is to handle the stress and handle the problems that come our way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in leadership if we weren't equipped to handle these problems. So point number one is honestly to accept the fact that if you're in a role of leadership, handling problems at a high level is actually exactly in your job description. So here's what this looks like for me, right? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to get my 2 toddlers fed. You know, the backpack is all over the place. The nanny is running late. The cat needs to be fed. I've got emails coming through my phone. And I'll be honest, from 8 to 8:30 in the morning, it's a pretty high stressful time in the morning. Yet I make it a point to get into the office at least 30 minutes before my first meeting so that I can turn my mindset off, I can recenter, and I can focus on the things that put me in the mindset for me to show up best for my people. What that looks like on a practical level for me is that I buffer time periods in my day that I can step out of my leadership role and be human, so that I feel I can maybe let off some steam over here so I can jump right back into my leadership position with the best approach, best mindset to tackle whatever problems I'm dealing with. Next, and honestly, I didn't learn this as early as maybe I wanted to in leadership, but this is a really important point. If you're in leadership and if you're at, let's say, the top of your organization, it's incredibly important that you still have people outside of your organization, whether it's a coach, whether it's a mentor, whether it's somebody else in an adjacent organization that you can vent to and that you can ask questions to. Now, here's my rule on venting. There has to be a question and a solution that you're asking for, right? I mean, and listen, I get frustrated too. There's things I might want to complain about. There's things I might want to vent about. But if I'm resourcing my mentors, my coaches, my leaders, it has to come with a question that I can take action on and become better as a result of it. Otherwise, if I'm just venting, open up the notes section of your phone, do some journaling, and then move the heck on from it. So the second point on cultivating a positive mindset is to make sure that you have a support system around you that is not within your organization that can help call you out on maybe some of the leadership mistakes you're making, and they can teach you how to best show up for your people. Again, we're human beings. We're not going to be perfect. And it's important that you identify a healthy, safe outlet to communicate your frustrations that's outside of the organization so you can protect the cultural integrity of the organization that you're building. So the third point on cultivating a positive mindset as a leader, and stick with me on this one because it's going to sound really selfish on the surface, you have to play constant defense of conversations, relationships, everything going on around you. And let's be clear, in the year 2024, that can be challenging to do. There can be something we see on the news feed. There can be a news article over here. There can be what's going on with the election. We could walk past somebody in the office who's having a bad day. And what I want you to understand as a leader is that your mindset, your ability to thrive under pressure is your superpower. And so you have to defend your environment or anything that's going to get in the way of you having the best mindset you can be. A lot of the top CEOs and executives I coach around the country don't even check their email. They don't check social media. They don't check their phone until they've gone through their morning routine to set them up for success. So you have to start paying attention to the things that weaken your mindset, the conversations things that have you feeling low energy or the things that really get under your skin, and do everything you can to play defense around those scenarios or remove them from your environment altogether. Now, I can hear a few of you on the other end of this saying, Kate, well, what if it's my family? Well, what if it's my spouse? Now, again, that's a different channel. That's a different conversation. I'm not a marital counselor. And what I can share with you is that if there's something about a relationship dynamic that's not working for you, it is your responsibility to have the conversation, set the boundary, and then make an appropriate decision if and when that boundary is violated. It's okay to have the conversation with people that you love in your life to say, hey, Kate, you know what? I'm committed to leading my people and being the best version of myself I can. And these types of conversations don't exactly position me to do that. So can we table this for outside of the workday, or can we table this for the weekend, or can we never talk about this again? You have the right to decide what conversations you participate in and which conversations you don't. So what I'd like you guys to start doing is pay attention to what's occurring in your environment, whether it's music, whether it's on the radio, on the TV, whether it's a text message, whether it's a friend, and ask yourself, is this enhancing your mindset or is this holding your mindset down? And then make a decision based on that. The next point here on cultivating a positive mindset as a leader is protecting the culture around you by being mindful of your own thoughts, words, and reactions. And so a really good example of this is there may be a problem within the organization that you know needs to be addressed, and you might not exactly know how it needs to be addressed, but you know it's a problem and you want to talk about it right away. One of my mentors shared with me, and this was a couple years ago, he said to me, Kate, if you're ever feeling an emotional reactivity to the situation, meaning if you have an opinion about something, about, somebody not scheduling time off and then leaving, like if you have a personal feeling about the situation, you're not the person to communicate it, or you have to wait until the reactivity that you're feeling and experiencing has dissipated a little bit. Now, keep in mind, there's certain scenarios where you might not have the luxury of time to wait to communicate something, and you'll have to, do the best you can to communicate in a way that's not going to shut other people out when you do that. Yet what I'd like to share with you guys around creating a positive mindset is that people are trusting you and leaning on you to be the person who leads them through tough times. And so even though you're human and even though you have a lot on your plate, they can't see you be stressed out about that, because they're going to lose faith in you as a leader, and they're going to start to question whether or not they can trust that you're the one that's going to get them over the finish line. Now, a great example of this, I've had the same coach, mentor, leader for 15 years now. His name is Jeff Glover, and this man has built a lot of different companies and experienced a lot of different stress along the way. And, we kind of have this side conversation where he is pathologically positive, meaning I don't know if I could even count on one hand the amount of times I've seen this person have a bad day. Of course, I'm sure he deals with that behind closed doors, but I really admire the fact that he shows up strong for his people, and he does so by pausing and not reacting to taking action on something, whether it's a conversation or whether it's a decision that needs to be made, just because he feels like it's urgent. All of that is to say that be mindful of the feelings you have and ask yourself, is this something I need to react and respond to now, or could I sleep on it and address it at a later date? All right, guys, last point here on cultivating a positive mindset as a leader. And again, this is going to sound counterintuitive, but stay with me here. Step off your pedestal. Okay? Step off the pedestal you've put yourself on, because the pressure is too high, the expectations are too high, and you're never gonna hit all of them 100% of the time. Somebody shared with me a really good piece of advice, and they said, Kate, the only time that I care what I look like and sound like to other people is when I think I'm more important to them than I really do. So I really thought about that for a moment, and it made a lot of sense to me, because what it's ultimately communicating is that when we think that it's important for us to show up perfect, what we're really communicating is that people are watching us at all times and they're expecting us to be the best version of ourselves. Now, while that's true, there's also a world where we could step off our pedestal, become a little bit more humble, become a little bit more human for our people, so that we have the grace to admit if and when we've made a mistake and if and when we need to correct that mistake. And so within this point, what I really want to share here is to cultivate a positive mindset, you have to be willing to call yourself out on your own stuff, apologize if need be, turn the page and then accept that you're a work in progress. You're gonna get a lot further in your leadership development journey if you can accept the fact that you're a work in progress, you're never gonna be fully perfect, and you're gonna earn the respect of the people that you're leading along the way. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Cultivating a Positive Mindset as a Leader. And I just want to remind you guys that you as the leader set the tone for the organization. And so if you have big goals, then you need everybody on board to have a positive attitude, and it starts with us as the leader. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like the video, and share with me which point below spoke most to you and which one you're looking to put into practice. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you on the next one.